So welcome on behalf of the Academy of Entrepreneurs and Associates. That's a group of folks that have attended my sessions through the years and have graduated once, twice, or three or four times with the different series that we offer. So we like to figure that we're a good group of friends, Academy, and we're associates because networking is so very important. We do all that we can to help people improve their businesses, start their business, and if it gets in trouble for one reason or another, there's nothing at all as good as being able to get good opinions. I want you to know that I'm not an accountant and I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a fellow that's been in business for 64 years and happy to share information that I've gained through the years. I've made plenty of mistakes. Of course, I've done a few things right, apparently, if I'm still in business, and with the same one that we got started with my dad in 1959. But the first piece of advice I want to give you, and it's free, you know what you can do with free advice, but here it is. Always get a second and third opinion before you make a major decision in your business or financial security of your life. Ask someone that's been there and done that and listen to what folks say. And one of the very best places that you can get good advice, confidential, from professionals, is at your small business center at your local community college. If you're not in the area of Kinston today, where Greg Hannibal is sponsoring this event, in the chat board, just let me know that you'd like to meet and greet the small business director in the area that you are at, and I will write a letter of introduction and make sure that I help y'all get together. But today, thank the Lord that we are blessed to be sponsored and what they call facilitated by the Lenore Community College Small Business Center in Kinston. Kinston's right here on the map, as you see, over in the coastal plain of North Carolina. It's about 60 miles from where I am in Dunn. Good free expert advice is available there from Greg Hannibal. There's his phone number and his email address. And if you don't get it, just ask me and I'll put him in touch with you, or he'll be in touch with you too. Here's a good-looking fella. He's joining us when he can. Since I hadn't heard from him, he's probably on the phone now, but he'll be on board in a little bit. So thank you, Greg, for working with us. He always has a request, and that is after the webinars, he'll send out a questionnaire or an evaluation form. And he really wants you to answer that and do it as quickly as you can. Let him know that you have thought this was the very best webinar you've ever been to in your life. Tell him what you really think, and also give him ideas and what's on your mind about other topics and subjects that you'd like to see some webinars about. Today's webinars is supported with, it looks like I've got about 8 different study guides that I have emailed. One is basically the talking points and study guide of what these slides are going to be about. Then we've got 40 Main Street Get Smart Skills with videos to help you with a lot of good information. We'll talk about fair market value in one, marketable profit centers in another, look and hook marketing, merchandising, and how to stack your profits using upsells. So a lot of good information I'm glad to share with you in the study guides. A lot of our associates, people that attend these webinars, will take these study guides, print them out, put it and start building your business journal so you can refer to them from time to time as you are facing issues that you'd like to go back to a little research on. Or all these are Word files. And I use the Word files instead of PDF, so you can take the study guide and copy and paste out of it what you need in your business plan or in your journal, and use what's good for you, and don't worry about the rest of it. With the Word files that I send to you, you're able to use them more effectively. Again, reminding you to go to the chat button, type in your name, email address, hometown, ask any questions that you'd like or things that you'd like to request. We'll be glad to hear from you. How to price. The price is right. That's what we want in it. We want the right price at the right time, the right place. But if you hadn't ever done this, if you're new to being in business, it's a pretty tricky subject. Well, I can tell you I'm not an expert at it, but I've done a lot of pricing. And if you go to my website at carverequipment.com, you'll see about 1,700 pages of prices. And let me tell you, it works me to death to keep prices current especially during the last 2 years with inflation and COVID, is always having to change those prices. So it's never a black and white question about what is the price on something today, because freight costs are changing, inflation is starting to kick in, the economic pressures kick in. Pricing is a pretty darn difficult subject. So I'm happy to share with you, as kind of the gray-headed old-timer here that's done a lot of it, maybe to give you some insight to take a little stress away from what you're trying to do. But here's the deal. Pricing is always a moving target. It is always a moving target that you need to be aware of. Here's the way I like to say it. So let's approach this now, that put us in the mindset that we're going to talk about pricing as if we are the customer coming to your store. We are the customer, the shopper that's visiting your internet site. We are the customer, the shopper that's looking forward to getting a quotation from you. Let's think about it as a salad bar. You know, when you go to a salad bar at restaurants, if you like, I mean, I do, what really turns me on is having a great variety of different things that I can choose from, different flavors, the presentations being different, that just kind of makes you hungry as you walk around the bar, which I like to do, and see what's all there before I decide what I want. Well, it is the variety, it is the difference, it is the options that you have that make the salad bar nice. In running your business and pricing your products and service, it is the way that you price and present your products and services that sometimes makes the difference in whether you catch the customer's eye and actually are able to do business with them from the different ways that you put a price tag on things. Here's what I'm going to say to you first. Pricing is just not get a tag, write down a number on it, and hang it up just that quick. You need to give it some thought and some basis for what you're coming up with. But always remember, presentation makes a world of difference. Presentation is as important sometimes as the actual price is. So that's what I'll say to you. The message needs to be going out to your shopper that everything's negotiable. All my prices are negotiable. Yeah, I've got a price tag here, but I'll be glad to work with you and help you figure out different ways that you can buy it for less money. If you are thinking that I'm just going to put a single price here up on it, Karen and Tricia, just put one price there, they can just take it or leave it, I don't tell you that's going to get you in trouble. Because if you don't give your shoppers, your potential customers, two choices, take it or leave it, well, everyone's shopping, my friend, and if that leave it is there, they're going to leave it and go keep shopping until they find a plan B or satisfy themselves that your take it price is the best one they can find. That's the nature of shopping. I bet you would do the same thing. So I'm just really concerned that I see so many people that think take it or leave it is the right way to price your products. And old Steve-O here is going to say, no, let's don't do that. Because if you're saying take it or leave it, you're sending 85 to 90% of your shoppers away looking for a better deal. You got to set your prices up high enough to allow an ample margin that you can give a discount, that you can negotiate, that you've got what I like to call a little wiggle room or bargaining room. I don't want you to give any discounts, not a single one that you didn't plan to give. So if you're making a note now, here's what I want you to write down. No discount unless they've been planned in advance. That's right. Discounting is really important when marketing and merchandising, but it's also really an important way to go out of business if you didn't plan to give those discounts. What we're going to do is always think about building up to an advertised price, whether it's for a product or for a service. Building up to an advertised price. Say that with me. Building up to an advertised price. You just don't hang the price tag out there without some real basis for it. But now, a lot of you are saying, old Steve-O's just don't talk about selling products. No, I'm not either. Because most of us in our business, one way or another, we're going to end up selling time for money. Time for money. And we have to figure out how to price that as well, how much to charge for our time. Who are some people that are doing a important service that are charging for their time? Well, it's the people cutting grass, it's the folks doing pressure washing, it's the lawyers, it's the dentist, right? It's the house painters, it's the people giving webinars and seminars, and it may be a part of what you're doing in your job. You see, maybe you thought you were selling the finished product, but your finished product is all about how much time it takes to get there. That's really how you end up basing your money. So it's important we talk about that. So when we think about I'm going to be in a business that I'm selling time for money, here's what I got to say to a new entrepreneur. A lot of us think that if I put in an 8-hour day, then I put in a long day, and I've just done really good because I put in a good day, and I should be profitable in my business. But that's not a fact. The number of hours that you're putting in your day, the total number of hours, is irrelevant to your profit. But the number of hours that you're spending actually selling or billing or doing something that's generating income, those are the hours that keep you in business. So I just have to kind of wash away this feeling that entrepreneurs sometimes have that haven't actually run or been in their own business. As long as I show up, as long as I'm there to greet my customers, as long as I'm drinking coffee or having a biscuit down the street with potential customers, then I'm doing what I got to do. Wrong. Sorry if I have to step on your toes. What you have to do is spend your time creating sales, collecting money, or marketing in such a way that you know you're going to get a return on that investment. So you already know now that I'm just not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what I think you need to know about staying in business. So let's get into it a little bit. Let's say that you're new, and when we talk about business plans, and you come to my webinars and seminars about business plans, I'm always going to say to you, we want to know what's left. What's left at the end of the day? What is your goal for income for yourself or your business? And that personal goal is really what we're going to build our business and our business plan around. So using this as an example, let's say that your personal goal for a week is to bring home $1,000. One smacker, one big round one, okay? $1,000. That's what you want to end up with to have cash or put in your bank account. Well, I got to tell you that means you got to make a whole lot more than $1,000. You got to generate a lot more than $1,000 through your profit centers, through the different ways you make money. Let's say in your business that you generated $2,550. That's how much you took in. Now we're going to look at what your cost of doing business was. And let's say in your particular business it was 50% or $1,275. And then we got taxes to pay, and I just threw in $204 there for that, and maybe your insurance. That's your cost of doing business. So for you to generate and end up with $1,000, for you to end up with $1,000, you needed to generate $2,550. So that's the basis for the whole rest of this webinar this afternoon. We're always going to be talking about building up to that advertised or gross price. And today, in this instant, the advertised price is $2,550, so that you can end up with $1,000 that you determined was your goal. Now, let's kind of convert this information into hours. All right, I want to end up with that $1,000, so I got to sell $2,550 worth. So if you're working over at your business 40 hours and you spend 15 hours of your time selling, that means for each hour that you spend selling, you need to generate $170 revenue. How about that? So let's say that what you're selling today is $17 a piece. That would be saying to you that in my normal work day, I need to sell 10 of these items at $17 a piece. See where I'm coming from? But let's say that you were going to be working 30 hours. Maybe it's a part-time job. Maybe you've got plenty of other stuff going on, and you're using this new business of yours just to generate a little extra income. If you're going to work 30 hours and spend 10 hours of it selling, then every hour you're selling, you need to generate $250. So if you're selling something that costs $250, every hour you work, you need to sell at least one of them. You on board with me? If you are, say amen or uh-huh. 20 hours, you work 7 hours, you got to sell $364 per hour. If you're just working 10 hours and 3 of it is time selling, that means $850 per hour you need to generate. This is going to give you good insight to why when we are talking about how to get your business started with your profit centers, that sometimes you have to have some big ticket items to end up with the revenues that you got to have. Like maybe if you know you can't work but 3 hours a week, then maybe you need to focus your business and build it around something that's selling big ticket items so you can generate some good revenue and end up with where you need to be. Selling time for money, your most valuable tool in getting your business up and running and for it to be sustainable, is that your most valuable tool getting started is a blank calendar. It is just that way. Because this calendar right here, when you start drawing circles here and on different dates, when you start filling it up with your future appointments, every time you make an appointment or you have a date that you or to see someone and generate some cash flow, then you're going to see your business start becoming more and more sustainable. And if you're in a business like we'll say mowing grass or pressure washing, some business like that, when you get one calendar full, then it's time to add on another crew and start growing your business based on how well you're doing with your calendar. Now, if you are selling time for money, I got a really important question for you that you need to put kind of in your DNA about thinking and pricing. And that question is, where can I find the most profitable customer to serve? Where is the person that I can serve that I can make the most money with? Well, the answer is really easy. It's the person next door to where you're working right now. Because when you're selling time for money and you're in kind of a mobile business, the biggest mistake that we make is riding all over the country, spending so much time on the road with gasoline prices and automobile cost and just our time, that we spend more time going from here to there and eat up all of our time. Therefore, we don't have billable time to bill other customers. But if we, to begin with in our business, use the theory that my most profitable customer is next door, then you're going to learn to go over next door and give those person the card or put a banner or a door hanger on their door. Meet the person next door, because you want to generate your future customers as close together as you can to cut down your travel costs. Here's something you didn't expect to hear today too. If you're selling time for money, your business plan needs to be based on 4 days a week and 4 weeks a month. Or in other words, I want you to be profitable with your business plan with a 16-day per month schedule. That's right. Now, what I'm encouraging you to do is to learn to use your calendar and to learn to make appointments and set up your business so that you can work the first 4 days of each week and meet your income goal. That leaves you 3 days that we haven't obligated yet. 1 day to have a life. 1 day to grow your business, go out and do some prospecting, add new customers. 1 day to do repairs and to fill in for weather and to do other things, make more money or spend more time with your family, your loved ones, or to be sick if that's what happens. In other words, you need to plan in some flexibility. And 4 days a week, 4 weeks a month, we'll do it for you. And we get really deep into this when we do our business plan seminars and programs, and I'll be glad to send you study guides based on that. If you're working 4 days, then you need to assign a dollar value for each slot or for each time appointment that you're putting in. And then you fill in those slots based on the income to end up with your business plan coming together. Assign dollar values to each appointment, and then you fill in the slots on your calendar so you're making sure that you're making your income. So let's go back to the $2,550, okay? That means if you need to generate that much money on a 4-day week, you have to generate around $640 per day. So as you're looking at your different customers and slots and making appointments for people in the future selling time for money, you might want to group your appointments like this so that you're going to end up down at the bottom line with where you need to be successful. Let's say in your business you've got a customer that you can generate $700 by spending the day with them. Well, that's good. That would take up your money. And then you've got a lot of other different type of customers that you can group together, maybe two 250s and a 150 to get you where you need to be. On Wednesdays, we're going to do a certain size customer, certain job, and on Thursday. Bottom line, we're after that $640 at the end of the day. Now, who in the world does that? Who does that? Well, the dentist does it, the lawyer does it. Anyone that's running a professional office, as I want you to do, bases your business plan on a calendar that's bringing in X number of dollars per day so that you meet your goal at the end of the week and at the end of the month. That's right. If you've got a dentist appointment any time in the future, that dentist has an office manager that is calling people. That's all they do is call people and make sure they're going to be in the right chair at the right time with the right amount of money. On Mondays, they're going to do crowns. That's going to get them $700. On Wednesdays, they're going to do cavities at $160 a pop. They can work in 4 on a Wednesday. That's going to get them at $640. And in our businesses, depending on what it is, you would be doing the same thing. Okay, I hope that's sinking into you. Now, if you got questions, raise your hand or let me know, and let me see if I can do something. We got a good crowd. Let me say hello to everyone. Got just a great crowd today. So glad to have you on board. We've got looks like some first-time visitors with us, and I'm just so glad to see you. Anytime we can hear from Mr. Hannibal, he's welcome to chime right in and let us know what he's up to. Now, here's the challenge.
Just enjoying your presentation, Steve. You got some fantastic examples, man. It's just amazing the amount of work you put into this. I hope you all appreciate this because this is some pretty, it's basic, but it's complex. It's kind of hard to describe. Fascinating, Steve.
Well, thank you so much. You know, if you hadn't ever done it, it is complicated. I've had the good fortune of being involved in a lot of different businesses, and I hope we're breaking this down to a way it can sink in and be understood. So thank you, Greg. Jump in anytime if you see someone in chat asking a question, okay? Okay. So the challenge question for you is, everyone, you ready? I'll put you to work now. You've got a target income. After expenses, you want to end up with $1,200. Yeah, I want to start a new business, but by golly, I want to end up with $1,200 a week if I don't start this new business. So we know that your expenses are going to be $600 a week. And we know you're working part-time and can't work but 3 days, but you're going to put in 12 hours a day. So the question to you is, how much per hour do you need to generate to make this plan come about? How much per hour do you need to generate? Do you need to charge your customers? If you're working 3 days, 12 hours each day, and you don't have $600 expenses, and you want to end up with $1,200, how much? I'll tell you the answer in a minute, but I'd really like for you to work on it.
Mr. Carver, I have a question before you go further.
All righty.
So my question to you is, I can see how this works when you're trading your time for money, but what if you're trying to create like businesses that will be passive income, where you're trying to remove yourself from that bind of having time exchanged for money? For instance, for me, I'm trying to sit down and create digital courses. So how should I price my courses? Because I'm hoping that I'm not going to be the one teaching the courses in person. These will be things that, say, someone can download or have access to, but it's like one and done. I'll be working more on my marketing to get people to take the course.
I believe I just lost your volume, but I was hearing I heard your question.
Sorry, let me see if I can repeat it. So I'm going to spend the majority of my time marketing whatever digital product I make, but I'm trying to get away from the bind of exchanging time for money. I'm trying to create a way to create, I won't even say passive income, because you still need to put in effort, but something that can happen beyond the clock. Like,
I understand your question.
Sure.
And I have to say to you that this is a monkey that will always stay on your back. You can't ignore how much time you're putting into your product to do
Correct.
this. Now, here's something that will help you. You're going to develop a product. That development period is going to be your R&D period. It's the investment that you're making developing the product. Now, you're going to take that investment when we talk later on in the program here. That's going to be your initial investment, and then you will apply that as being part of your cost of the product that you're going to sell, and see how it plays into your finished price. Volume. So you're on you're basically on the manufacturing side here. So you're going to have to plan your business plan based on the number of units that you think you can sell, or how much revenue you just got to bring in. But the initial cost of selling time for money, you need to keep up with it, because that needs to be part of your research and development initial investment in the product.
I understand that. So will we be looking at how to think through that at a later stage of our presentation today?
We will, and if we don't get there, then all you need to do is send me an email, and I'll be glad to address it deeper.
Okay, sounds like a plan. Thank you.
That's a great question. Now Nadine is on board with us here too this afternoon, and she has the same issue that you do in that she does crochet work. And it takes a lot of time to build that product. So she has to deal with how much time am I actually putting into this versus how I can end up with some money. So it applies to a lot of different folks. All right, so let's get back to your question. Everybody got your answer? You need $1,200. You're going to spend $600, so you got to bring in $1,800, right? Got to bring in $1,800. You're going to work 12 days, 3 days, 36 hours. 1,800 divided by 36 hours, you need to be charging $50 an hour. Was $50 your answer? If it was, great. If not, it needed to be. Now, this simple equation can be applied to pretty much hundreds of situations for you. See, but it's up to you to determine, number one, what your business plan is, what your goal, your income goal is. What I really love to drive home the point is your business plan needs to be based on what you determine that goal is at the bottom. And when we start doing our business plan with the number of profit centers and such as that, if we're not reaching that goal, then by golly, we need to go back and make changes. 1,800 coming in, 600 going out. What's left? That $1,200 was your goal. Now let's talk about selling products. Now move away from selling time for money, moving into selling products now. The number one rule is you can't sell right if you don't buy right. If you don't do a good job buying raw materials or R&D time or whatever, then you don't have so much investment that when you're ready to price it can add your profit and cost of doing business, you're just going to be too high in the marketplace money-wise. So rule number one is learn how to negotiate, learn how to forecast so that you're going to sell right, so that you will be able to buy it right later. I mean, you need to buy it right so you can sell it right later on. I'll be referring back to our question early on, and sometimes a person has a really good idea about developing some software or doing some other things related to software to end up with a product that they're thinking about. But with their time, with their skills, with their equipment, with their experience, sometimes you're better off to hire someone to come in that's used to doing stuff fast and quick, but still top quality work, have a non-disclosure agreement with them. And sometimes if it's taking you too long to develop a product, then hire someone to come on board and help you, look over their shoulder, or 2 or 3 people, so that you'll end up having that product ready to go on the market in a hurry and start making money with it. The big mistake some of us do as entrepreneurs is it takes us so long to get our product together or to get our plan together because we're trying to do everything right by ourselves that we don't ever get in business. When if indeed we had hired someone to help us with our website or hired someone to help us with technology and go ahead and push that product through and get it on the market and start making some money, it's a lot better to make $1 than it is not to make anything. So you got to buy it right before you can sell it right. I want you to know all about fair market value. That's why I've got a special handout on it. If you got to buy below fair market value so you can sell above fair market value. In entrepreneurship, that is the margin, that is the lane between staying in business and going out of business, and it's easy to figure out once you get into the groove. Say it with me. Fair market value. Fair market value. It is a foundation block of every entrepreneur to learn how to price your products. Another foundation block is that you've never done it before, so you don't know where to start. Well, I can tell you that sometimes it's hard to figure out where to start. And a good place is, whatever it costs me, I'm going to multiply it times 3 and go for it. I'm going to multiply it times 3 and see how that price stacks up in the marketplace. So the times 3 add rule, that's old Steve-O's rule. Here's what it's all about. The first third of this is to cover your wholesale cost. To cover your wholesale cost. Maybe your cost of R&D would be put into this, your total cost of development. Next third is your overhead or your cost of doing business. And the last third is profit and taxes. That would be your selling price on this particular product. Now, you may say, depending on whether you're selling 1 or 1,000,000 of this product, the volume issues are going to come into play. But the starting place to look at it and to come up with a base number as if you're selling only 1 is a good way to get started with your process. Then you'll divide it out and you'll see how that number tests in the market. You'll study it. You'll see what your potential customers might pay. You'll see what the competition is going to do and determine your potential share. Now, if you're selling a software program, as was mentioned earlier, then you'll see where the competition is, what probably the market price is, the fair market value might be. And then you'll determine how many of these products will I have to sell to get that return on investment and to start making some good money on it. That's testing with your marketplace. You'll apply a number of different market strategies to come up with whether you need to add or reduce from that ×3 price. You'll do considerations of fair market value, how much your marketing campaign is going to cost you, other value-added possibilities, and then coming back to an advertised sale price and then seeing how much room you got from advertised sale price to scaling it down to a clearance price that you could liquidate if you needed to. What is fair market value? Now, in all my quizzes, if you take my series at the Academy, you have to pass some tests. This question is going to be on every one of them because it is a cornerstone for entrepreneurship. Fair market value is the only legal price in the whole United States, maybe in the whole world, but I know in the United States, fair market value is the law. It's a Treasury regulation. You can put a price tag on anything you want to, any way you want to, pretty much across the board, unless you're gouging people in a hurricane. But fair market value is a legal term. It is the price at which the property would exchange hands, and here's the key, between a willing buyer and a willing seller, neither one of them being under any pressure, and both of them having good knowledge of the product and the market. That's fair market value. Study it, know it, think about how it applies. Who in this world, who in this United States has a job that's all about determining fair market value? What is that person called? They're appraisers. They are the appraisers. Real estate appraisers, jewelry appraisers, farm equipment appraisers. Appraisers that are often certified appraisals are by law giving you the fair market value. And you know what? They're pretty much going to be on the money. Now, where do you see fair market value at your house? Probably if you're in a county that you pay county taxes based on your property values, you'll get a listing every year and they'll tell you how much taxes you owe based on the appraised value of your property. That's a good example of fair market value. If you go to a divorce court and one partner is saying, this thing I want's worth $100,000, but he's offering me only $25,000 for it, well, the judge is going to say, I love you both, and I want you both to vote for me. So here's what I'm going to do. We're going to bring in a certified appraiser, and they're going to tell us the fair market value, and that's going to be the law, and we're not going to have to argue about it. Whether you agree with it or not, fair market value is going to be the law. Now, here's a little footnote. Maybe if you've ever thought about being an appraiser, that is a good business to get into. Real estate appraisals require a lot of work and a lot of time. Other type of appraisals just require that you do a minimum amount of study, but have a general good knowledge of what you're talking about, and you can make some pretty good money doing certified appraisals. Fair market values. Let's look at this chart here. These are the values of something, whatever you wanted to be selling. These are the values that people negotiate, that we talk about, that you see advertised. We hear about fair market value and the low dollar and the forced liquidation sales, below wholesale consignment cost, low dollar dealer invoice. This is the range on the bottom end of the value. The low end. These are the ends that you want to buy at. See, you want to buy below fair market value, which is top. So look at all these different steps. Looks like about 12 of them here. 12 different levels of buying that you can, through negotiating and through having knowledge of the trade that you're in, you can buy so far below fair market value, it's staggering. You need to know your business, but you can do that. And then there's these areas in the middle. You don't see these advertised, but these are the pricing ranges that you need to know that exist. And anything that you're selling, any product you're selling, I would want you to have a value of that product beside each one of these lines. Break it down. Why? Because then you'll see what range you can negotiate with your potential customers or buyers. Notice right here in the middle, we got the retail serious negotiating. The suggested retail price, the MSRP. Now, here's a good example we can talk about. because of automobile shortages, car manufacturers and pickup manufacturers used to tell you about you can save $10,000 on this vehicle. Well, what they're talking about, you can save $10,000 off of their suggested retail price. But now that there's such a shortage on there, you're not hearing them that you can save all those big bucks, right? Because they are selling at MSRP these days. So that is a good example of how market values will change the selling prices of stuff. But notice now, see where MSRP is? As it goes up, then that fair market value is going to go up too. So it is a moving target, just like we said earlier. But here's the top end and where we'll spend most of our interest today. Building up to that advertised price. The retail promotional price is at the top. That is the number that you'll put, that you'll start your negotiation with, so that you will have room to negotiate, to come down a little bit, to make some wiggle room, you might want to say, to take a trade in, to make some allowances for a volume deal. Let's say I'll sell you one of these for $1,000, but if you buy 1,000 of them, I'll sell it to you for $700. This is the thinking that you need to do before you establish that promotional advertised price, is to forecast. Again, that's another business skill to get, forecasting, to forecast the different opportunities that might come to you. So see how between fair market value at the bottom and retail promotional advertised price at the top, you've still got 4 different levels there to negotiate, because you want to buy what? Below fair market value, so you can sell above fair market value. If you're with me, say, I got it, Steve. That's what we're doing. All right, here we go. Here's an example. I've been using this example for 7 or 8 years now because it is so reflective. This is a car, an automobile that is on a dealer lot somewhere, a used car dealer lot, selling for $13,000. That same car, same mirror model, same mileage, same color, same engine, might be on a salvage auction lot across town selling for $4,000. The difference in $4,000 at the bottom and $13,800 at the top is the wonderful world of entrepreneurship. Because depending on your skill levels and how well you know the game that you're in, and how long you stayed with it to get good at it, or how many levels that you can jump and play with at each place, is where our game is. It's kind of like fish in the ocean. We can be in the deep water or the shallow water, or we can swim in the Gulf Stream. There's a lot of places you can swim as an entrepreneur when it comes to values, and this is a perfect example of it. Whatever your product is, this list of values could be applied in different ways so that you will see how you might negotiate to get to where you're going to be. We can do a lot of talking here now, but I'm going to boil it right down to just like you go into the furniture store. Just pretend that we've all got on a nice colorful shirt, and the weather's good. Let's break out of this COVID environment and go shopping. You can come up here to Dunn, the Rooms to Go. I've got 1 million square feet where we can shop. And you know what they got at Rooms to Go? 1 million pieces of furniture, and every darn one of them has got a tag on it. And these tags, just like with your products, I want you to have a tag on everything that you've got for sale. Whether it's in your showroom or on your internet site or in your catalog or at eBay, you need to have a tag and be ready to do business. Be ready to do business. Remember, here we are with an example, $13,875. On that tag it says includes delivery. Includes delivery. Why have I got includes delivery there? Because I'm planting the seed that this customer maybe don't want to just take it or leave it. Maybe they want to buy it and take it with them and not have to pay a delivery charge. Therefore, they would say, you know, I'd like to buy this, but I need a little break to get that delivery charge. That is the difference in just putting a tag on it that would just say $13,875 or a tag that says includes delivery. So the message to you, my dear associates and entrepreneurs, is when you put a price tag on something, always put a statement after it that it's inviting the customer to talk to you, not just to look at it and say, I can't afford this, I'm going to walk away. On the back side of this tag, all they have to do is turn it over and see, look here, I'll take 15% off of this because we got a sale going on, but I got to add tax to it. So you can buy it for $11,799. So you are encouraging that customer, because you got a 15% sale, to buy it now. And that is the look and the hook marketing strategy. Always have a good look, which is this red tag, but have a hook. Have a reason to buy it now. So when they turned over that, you got them to nibble on the red tag, but when they turn it over, you don't put the hook just like in a fish and say, 15% off now, I can buy it for $11,799 plus tax. But even more so, because we are in a sophisticated world and people know stuff. You see that plus tax on there? Did I go ahead and figure out the tax and tell them how much it was? I did not. I just put plus tax, because I want that customer, if they're a serious shopper and serious negotiator, to say, Steve, I might pay you that $11,799, but I swanny, that's all I got. I just can't pay that tax. That puts it out of my budget. That's exactly what I wanted them to say. That's why I put plus tax on there, so that if it's that customer that's going to be a serious shopper and he's going to make me an offer, if I absorb the tax, then I'm going to take him up on his deal or come back and try to negotiate a little bit to get a little bit more. But the little presentation marks that you put here is the difference in having the opportunity to make the sale. Now, on that piece of furniture, I've also got another tag back there. If somebody looked at it, they just think it was a manufacturing code. But what it really is the empowerment to a salesman, or the empowerment to me, because I want to know what the bottom line is. So I've got a little message tag over there that's saying, see that LDR11250? That's saying to me that is low dollar, $11,250. In other words, I'll sell that sucker for $11,250. I will. And still, if they beat me up to the point that I just feel like I'm going to lose them, they're going to walk out the door. And let me tell you, when they walk out the door, that's negative cash flow. I'll take $11,000. That is low dollar cash price, $11,000. So you're looking in the mind now at a retailer. That's how we do it. That's how jewelry stores do it. That's how furniture stores do it. That's how tractor sellers do it. Anybody that's selling big ticket items are going to be using this philosophy. So I want you to know how it works. So that why? Because I want you to keep negotiating when you're buying this stuff and get it right down to that bottom line. We started out at $13,875, but you know now you could actually buy it for $11,000. That's right. Just know that and be smarter, because maybe you're buying this to resell it. And if you know where the fair market value is and it's below $11,000, you can go ahead and buy it, and then you use that same marketing theory and mark it up yourself. How about that? I hope you've enjoyed this little lesson here. You're looking into the eyes of the retailer and understanding how it works, building up to the advertised price. Here's what you got to take into consideration when you're building up to it. First of all is your cost for raw materials. And then you have to determine what's your body. You got to make some profit. How much are you going to add to it and still feel good about yourself and look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm a good entrepreneur. I'm making a reasonable profit here. I can sell these all day long and stay in business. That's your bare bones bottom dollar price. That was at $11,000 back on the other one. And now I need some negotiating room, because that bare bones is the lowest I'm going to go. So let's build up now. Let's add. Let's think about if I can make a good, reasonable margin, I'd price it at this. I'd price it a little bit higher for a little bit more margin, and then I need to give myself that advertised price to get down to it. Why am I doing this? Why am I causing all this extra work and thinking? Because here's the best news of all, my friends. There is a certain group of shoppers out there, probably in the neighborhood of 20%, who will pay and be real happy the advertised tag price. They don't want to negotiate. They feel good about doing business with you. They want you to make a good profit. Not. But they do want to buy the most expensive thing in the store so that they can go home and say to their neighbors, I bought the most expensive thing in the store. It is so cool when you have that customer come and see you. I had one this week call me up. I gave him the price off my internet. He says, how much will shopping be? I gave him that, and he said, here's my credit card number. I said, hallelujah, I am so glad you called me. You just made my day. He said, well, you got a good reputation. I want you to make some money. Get it on to me. I'll have other people that call me and beat me and beat me and beat me all the way down, but I'm not going below that bare bones price. I've determined that if I don't sell it, I'm going to make a little bit of money on it, or it can stay right here. That's right. Until it gets old and starts stinking, and then I got to turn it into some revenue. But in normal selling, this is the price that you can go with. Did you hear what I said about some people will pay you that advertised tag price? So it's up to you to mark it up as high as you can and be reasonable in the marketplace. Don't take advantage of a soul here. Now listen, you got to be proud to be an entrepreneur, and being an entrepreneur that stays an entrepreneur means making profit. It's not seeing if you can be the cheapest Walmart in town. It's about you making the best values and staying in business by making profit. Let's talk about a net cost on something. Let's say that we're going to come up with this same piece of furniture we've been looking at. How did that fella come up with that? Well, that furniture cost him $8,000. He paid $450 freight. It took him $180 to put it all together. He kicked in a 5% factor for cost of doing business. He knows he had to advertise a lot, so he kicked in $520 to get his advertising investment back. And he's going to make 15%. He said, I'm going to make 15% on it or die. So he added $1,450 and came up with a bare bones price. Remember, the bare bones price was $11,000. And then from there, he marked it on up to $13,875. My friends, you can do this. Whether what you're selling is $550 or $50,800, you still need to use this building up to your advertised price if you're going to be in the retail game, including selling on the internet. Don't think you have to be the cheapest person in the world on the internet if you hear what I'm saying. If you're sending the message, you're not take it or leave it. I don't put the big price out there, but I don't send the messages, let's negotiate. Then the shopper who wants to buy the big ticket, most expensive item, but has, how would we say it, Greg? I got a steak appetite, but a hamburger budget. Then I think I'm going to buy a steak at a hamburger price if indeed I can negotiate. And that's the message you want to send.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why take it or leave it gives your customer only one option, and that is go shop somewhere else and cause you negative cash flow. Whew, that's a lot of message in that thing. So we've talked about how to get to the price tag. Now let's talk about how to present it, how to put it out there in front of people. And remember the salad bar I started talking about, the variety of the different kinds of ways you can present your pricing. That's what we're going to talk about now. And I want you to take this. Some of this will fit your business. Some of it may not. But it's good for you to understand all of them, because as you're out here buying items to sell, or you're out here comparing your pricing with the competition, I want you to understand the different strategies that people use. And the mix, standing at the salad bar again, the mix is important. It's important that if you've got several products to sell, or even the same product, that you offer it in different ways so that people might take it from the salad bar and use it because of the way that you presented it. Now, the most simple formula that I can recommend is the one we just talked about. So that is a simple formula where you take your bottom line, come up with your cash price, and then you add from there. That's what we've been talking about up to now. So we've already covered that. Now there's another strategy in pricing called keystone pricing. And that's basically where the retailer who's selling products just doubles the price on everything. They just double the price. They're a high volume retailer, and it suits their needs just to double the price on everything. So even if they're doubling it, it's still important to give the messages on that price tag that you're going to have some ways to negotiate. Who is someone that might double their prices? Well, it might be a food retailer, because they know they've got to pretty much double everything, because what they're selling, they're taking it in. It's got to move out in a hurry, and their net cost is generally determines what their selling cost is going to be, and it's a high volume, so they're just doubling everything that comes their way. The car industry, the tractor industry, the big heavy iron industry, some electronics base their pricing on MSRP, manufacturer suggested retail. So if you're a retailer and have a franchise or a dealer agreement, you got a McDonald's, and someone else is going to tell you the price tag that you need to put on your products, and they may give you some flexibility room on negotiating, but someone else is determining the MSRP. Most easily understood by looking at the automobile business. Now let's get into what I call guerrilla marketing, multiple pricing. Multiple pricing is when, if you buy a lot of this item, if you buy several pieces, if you buy more than one, then I don't give you a bundling discount, right? So that's really important for people that need to sell high volume, or like when I'm selling a hay baler to a customer, I tell them that if they buy the baler and the rake, the hay rake, and the mowing machine from me, I'll give them some discount on all three pieces. I'm going to make more profit by doing that, even though I've grouped three pieces together, because I'm looking at my profitability not per piece, but per package. And that's an important factor that you would want to think about from the earlier question that we had, like if you're selling packages of software. I'll sell you one of these for a certain price, but if I don't sell it to you wholesale, like you're going to sell it to a school system or a large manufacturer that's going to apply it in their plant, I'll sell you one at a certain price at $2,000. However, if you'll go ahead and buy enough for X number of units, then that price can come down to $600. The key was you do your R&D cost and you start making money on volume. Discount pricing. Everyone wants a discount or a coupon or a rebate, right? Discounting just feels good. So, and we have to use it. I use it, and I'm telling you, you're probably going to use it if you're going to be successful. The key, as we said earlier, do not give any discounts unless you had planned to give them. Just basic discounts. The lost leader. You ever heard this term? Loss leading pricing. That's when we are willing to take one product that's very popular and mark the price down. Not that we're going to lose money on it, but we're going to mark it down to where we're not going to make any money or very little. Who does this a lot? Well, the grocery stores, of course. That's why you'll see a loaf of bread sometimes marked way down, or a pound of hamburger, or a gallon of milk, or some cheese. They'll take certain items, mark them down to their cost, put them on the shelf right beside other items that are very profitable for them. The key is they needed to have those lost leaders to get you to come into the store and walk back and start picking up other things on the way to that item that they're not going to make any money on. This is done really effective, and I do that all the time. It's a good thing. I'll sell one part. I'll advertise one part, like a mower blade that normally sells for $5.99. I'd sell that part for $3 if someone buys at least, say, 50 of them. And because I know that if someone buys 50 mower blades, they're going to buy 200 rivets to put it in. And I'll make my money on the rivets. but having that low price brings them in. That's called lost leading. Very effective. Now, if you've got a product that you're selling, or sometimes even a service that you're selling, and you're not quite sure how to apply any of these strategies, just send me or Greg a note, and we'll try to figure it out and help you, give you some ideas. Psychological pricing is so much fun. It is so crazy. It's so stupid, but it is so darn effective. I just can't believe it, and it's been around for so long. And the best example is $99.99. $99.99 is not $100, is it? Is 1 penny short. But you know what? In selling, I'll sell 20 $99.99s when I would only sell one at $100. That's how much difference there is in it. Or lots of folks that are in the rental business or financing, it's not how much the long-term price is, it's how much per month are you going to charge. I've had people that will pay me a certain amount per month, even though they're paying 12 or 15 months more to save $5 or $6. The key is understanding the psychological needs. So hitting just below under plateaus is so important. A fellow told me about 3 years ago that
your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system. 9107 40.
Oh, that was Greg. Okay. So a fellow told me in the firearms business a few years ago that he has about 30 or 40 items in his store when people are shopping around. 30 or 40
webinar when I got your email.
30 or 40 items in his store are priced at $199 or $195. And I said, well, why is that? He said, it is a simple rule of thumb that so many people leave on a Saturday morning or a Friday night and they go out shopping and get ready to go into the store, and they look over at their wife and she said, now, look here, it's a $200 budget in there. You cannot spend more than $200 or I'm going to go buy something. So they learned that, and now you'll see $199 all over firearms and ammunition and knife stores and sporting goods places and all like that, because it's kind of a national kind of thing. Folks know that's going on. They might have an item in there that they were going to sell for $165, but now it's priced at $195. Just staying under that $200 plateau. Or they'll bundle stuff. They'll put things on the shelf, and when you add them all up, all these different items, it just happens to come out to $195. That is very, very effective. So you want to remember how powerful that is. Here's an example of old CarverEquipmentCompany.com. If you go to my website today, you'll see this. And let me tell you, I put this up a few weeks ago. I had a real good season with these green cedars. You can see they're not cheap. They're pretty expensive items. But instead of pricing this unit right here, of course, I've got the retail price over here, right? There's that retail price. And I'm telling them, we got a sale coming on, so you need to come on and let's do some business, because look at this little sentence here. Subject to change without notice. In other words, you better get it on now because these prices are apt to change. And I told them we ship them anywhere from Alaska to Hawaii. Look at there. $69.99. Well, let me tell you that if I could have sold, if my sale price had calculated out to begin with at $6,850, I would have priced it at $69.99. If this had been calculated out at $8,149, I'd still price it at $81.99, because it is important that you understand the power of that 99. Psychologically, it goes a long way. It's the same with 49 and 29 and 79, but 99 is the one that most people stay with. Notice that I've mixed in some 49s through the way here, okay? And a 79 down here. A lot of nines. Go with the nines, that's right. Some people say I'm dressed to the nines. Old Steve-O advertises to the nines. That's the way I do it. All right, another pricing strategy is just being below competition. Everyone's got to be below competition at some point in time. Not everyone is, but maybe you need to have at least some items that are a little bit below competition to give them the mix, to be aware of it and talk about it. You know, we're priced below John Deere, or we priced below Kubota, or we're priced below Harris Teeter or Food Line. In other words, call names out and have a price there that maybe that's what someone is looking for. Why? If you're really after bringing in some new customers and you want to have some profit centers that are based on bringing in new business, and the biggest guy in town is Food Lion, well, then in your ad, you might say that Food Line has this priced at $1.86, but you can buy it here for $1.29 because you are going after Food Line's customers. That's just plain and simple. And in the competitive world, doing a little bit of that, mixing it up. Remember that salad bar? A little bit of mix goes a long way. So here's the pricing strategy. You've determined, figuring up your numbers, that your price needs to be one of these numbers. Which one are you going to choose? Which number are you going to choose? If you can, all of these is going to be in your profit range. You're going to be fine with any of these numbers. Which one will you choose to go with? Well, I'll tell you what old Steve-O's going to choose. What do you think? $199.95. That's going to be my number, because if I'm at $204 and my competitor's at $204 and I'm at $199, I don't get the deal. If I've got a shopper that just wants to spend less than $200, I'm going to get the deal. The way that I present it will help people spend those few extra pennies. So that's such an easy choice to make. Another pricing strategy is just flat, I'm going to be above the competition. I've got the most expensive, most luxurious, the best stuff in town. You need to pay more because I'm prestigious, I'm exclusive, and you'll be able to brag on what you got from me. Yeah, you paid a little bit more for it, but you're going to be cool because you got my product, and you paid more for it. And it works. Starbucks is a good example, and Dunkin' Donuts. They are after a certain clientele who's willing to pay a few more dollars, and there's a lot of shoppers out there. So if you have a product that you can play to luxury and exclusive and prestigious, then you're probably going to be in a position to make more profits. You might not have as much volume, but you may in the long run end up making more money. Psychological pricing, anchor pricing. All right. Anchor pricing is just basically saying the retail price is this, but the sale price is that. Some folks, some shoppers just want to know that they are saving money, and that's all they need. So if you've got 10 or 12 items that you are marketing or merchandising in your business, then you might want to use some anchor pricing, some competition pricing, some psychological pricing. Use it all. Give them the mix. Give them the salad bar. Skimming. Charge as much as you possibly can, as high as the price as you can make it while the deal is hot. And then as the deal cools down, I'll lower the price. Who is the best at this in the whole world? Apple. They come out with a new telephone. When it comes out, it's $2,000. 6 months later, it's $1,500. A year later, it's $1,200. 2 years later, it's $800 or $500 or whatever, because it's all about how hot is the market. The supply and demand, or people wanting to get it. Amazing. And when this last new Apple phone came out, and it had the 3 cameras on it and such as that, I was at the barber shop, and I was looking around the barber shop, and there was 3 young men in there, and every one of them had that new phone and had paid the big price for it. Their parents had bought them that new phone because it was so cool and so new. And I was still using my phone that was 8 years old. But at any rate, I've got me a new one now because the old one died on me after I saw that conversation. But Apple is really good about skimming the market. So this software that we were talking about developing earlier, if it's hot enough, and if it's cool enough, and if there's enough demand for it, and you've got a really cool marketing plan, maybe you can skim with it. Maybe while it's hot, you can go for the big bucks. And I'm certainly going to encourage you to do that. Always price as high as you possibly can. But in this whole conversation, remember that just take it or leave it is sending customers on to look for a better deal. Whatever.
And Steve, never ever sell at a price lower than you paid. Never, ever, ever.
Well, that's exactly right. If you can do that. There's an exception to that, but it's got to be real old inventory and you're in a real bind, because sometimes you're better off to sell that old inventory than to go borrow new money. But that's a crisis situation.
Well, hopefully you're getting a tax write-off to make up the difference.
There you go. That's an idea. But do not get hung up on just saying to your customers, take it or leave it. Now, when you're doing this, when you got your pricing under control and understanding it, then you're going to be in a position to conquer the competition. And I don't come back to that in a minute. Let's just take a minute and turn on the microphones and give anyone that'd like to make a comment or ask a question to do that. So if y'all would like to turn your mics on and ask the question, now's a good time to do it. Greg, let me ask you while they're doing that. Is things warm over in the Kinston area today?
It's feeling mighty good. It felt like a couple of sprinkles early on. We're getting about 3 seasons today. Not 4, but 3.
I hear you. All right.
Gotta love it.
I'm looking over the chat board. All righty. I don't see any particular questions I need to stop for. And I'll be glad to send those study guides out. Let me mention to you that if you've got a friend or someone that's starting a business that would benefit from these webinars and seminars, send them to Greg. Send them to the network. We've got a lot of stuff to offer for a lot of people. Okay.
I might want to say also, Steve, I did send out those all of those handouts Monday afternoon, but I did get several people who said they did not get them. So we want to make sure everybody gets all the materials. You went through a lot of work putting that stuff together, and it's really good stuff. So anybody that still doesn't get it, either Steve or I will be glad to get it to you.
Yes, and so make sure you write your email address in on the chat board, because that's how we're going to be able to send it to you, okay? I see several of you have done that, but some of you have not.
Got a couple of people, all I see is their name, and one person, all I saw was their phone number a while back. So,
okay.
Need your email address.
Let's talk about that competition. You know what? There's so much competition in the world today, and we just need to understand what to do with those fellows, no doubt about it. What I want to say is there is plenty of business out here, and we have to learn some real simple truths before we let the competition world get on top of us. Because I don't know about you guys, but I hate losing. I love to compete. I love to take deals away from my competitors. I love just to kick them right in the ground. I don't want to hurt them permanently, but it does me good to take a deal away from one of my competitors, just like I know it does them good to take one away from me. And after 64 years involved in trench warfare and in my business, we got a lot of competition. And there's always somebody new coming along that's doing this or that. So let me tell you, I've hung in there for 64 years, so I've played the game every way it can be played, no doubt, and appreciate seeing what folks do. But I do hate to lose. It's just not a good thing. But here's the thing. Now, we need competition because good business creates business. So I don't want my entrepreneurs, my associates, to be saying, oh, man, I want to open up this business over here because I don't have any competition. Or I want this business in this town because I'll be the only one on the block. Well, listen, if a brand new pharmacy store, drugstore opens up in your town on a busy corner, what's going to happen within a year or so? Another one's going to open up right across the street from it. If a fast food business opens up and does real good on one corner, what's going to happen in a year or two? another one will be right beside them. Good business creates business. So encourage competition, but don't encourage them to beat you. That's what the message is here. So the most dangerous threat to your business, the competition that's going to kill you, I mean knock you in the dirt, not have any compassion for you at all, you know who it is? You know who the most dangerous threat is? It's that competition we hold within ourselves. Internal. Yep. Did I really say that? That's right. The competition within ourselves. It lurks everywhere and it rages with us. It's a daily struggle. And what is it? It is the competition we have to deal with to fight distractions in our life. It's the competition that we have to deal with to keep setting the right priorities, because the competition is setting the wrong priorities. And it's the competition to maintain high standards, to take the narrow road, the one that goes up the hill instead of downhill slide. That's the competition that will make the difference in whether or not your business is going to make it or not. Fighting distractions, setting the right priorities, and maintaining high standards. Because here's the deal. If you expect something different to be happening in your life or in your business life tomorrow, and you're not going to make any changes from what you're doing today, is anything different going to happen? Nah. So fighting the distractions and setting the right priorities is the difference in whether or not we manage the competition. When we're competing, it's about constantly putting ourselves in a position to win a position or a profit or a prize. It's kind of having a rivalry. Yeah, just like ball games, just like teams from one town or another. There's a rivalry in that competition. That is competing. And we have to compete with other companies, with philosophies, with attitudes, but mainly we have to compete with the distractions that are trying to take our mind and our time away from where we need to be. What is the goal? Why have I brought this up? Because it is so closely tied to pricing that I want just to drive this nail home. Cheap is not the competitive advantage that a small business entrepreneur needs. The competitive advantage that you want is most value for the money. Easiest to do business with. I'll negotiate. I'll find a way to do business with you. I'm not trying to be the cheapest guy in town. I'm trying to be here for you for 60 years. So let's work together and find common ground. That's the competitive advantage that I want and that I want you to have. How do you get there? Making your presentation a work of art. Making that price tag, that advertised sale price that we talked about, it's a work of art when you not only encourage the people to make you an offer, to make sure they understand it's not take it or leave it, to make sure that even when you're offering the sale price that you've got a little thing like there that just said plus tax, to encourage them if they didn't want to pay that tax or talk about it some more, to make you an offer that, Steve, I'll take this, but I just can't pay that tax. See, that is a work of art in a price tag. And the littlest things like that can make so much difference for you. When you're ready to make the sale, and the person says, well, let's figure it all up. When you have a form there that's ready to put your prices right down and easy to do, and you can come to that bottom line and draw a circle around it and initial it and have them to do it in 30 seconds or less than a minute, then you're going to be in a position to make the sale. To have them say, I'll be glad to take it. I do want this product. I'll be glad to buy it from you. But here's the deal. You got to have it ready. You got to forecast that the opportunity is going to come to you so you can let this pricing work that you've done actually come through for you and end up helping you close the deal. The presentation is critical to do that. It's the competition is all about your skills level and being a professional, because it is tough. We have to knock heads with our competition sometimes. We have to knock heads with our distractions in our life. We might have people in our life that's trying to get us to do things that's not good for our business, and you just have to take a stand and set the standards. We got to learn how, before you can set those prices, you got to buy right. And to buy right, you have to understand forecasting and negotiating and deal closing. So if you need some help with those personal skills, with those business skills, then we've got seminars and study guides that'll help you with that. I want to encourage you to take advantage of it. We are here to help you. We're not here to charge you any money, but simply to help you. Greg and all the other directors of the small business centers, their gratification comes from seeing people succeed. And that is a noble work, and I am so proud to be a part of an organization that is our goal. What is that competitive advantage trying to do for us in small business? Bottom line is, if we want happy customers. We want customers that feel like they got a good deal, a reasonable deal, a place that you're going to back it up and not be gone tomorrow. You're going to smile and give me a warm greeting. In other words, I'm going to be a raving fan customer and send more business back to you, because not only did I get a fair price, I got a price that had a lot of value in it that makes me feel good and makes me want to recommend you to other people. Now, let's kind of tie all this together. For you to take advantage of those prices, you need to understand the group of people that will probably be buying this product from you. And that's where you want to send your pricing strategies, your marketing, and about how you're pricing your stuff. Who are you going to market to? And I like to say the low-hanging or the ripe fruit. That's the target groups, the low-hanging or ripe fruit customers. They're the people that's the easiest to reach and the closest to you, that you can get your message to them for a fairly small amount of money. Now, once you're established in business and you've got this low-hanging fruit group down pat, then I want you to go big. You got to move past that at some point to really make your business grow. Here's a basic fact. Your business can't be all things to all people. However, it must be everything to some people, so you're going to want to figure out who those some people are and what the pricing range is that they want to shop in. And those people will become your loyal and raving fan customers. Branding is a key factor in that. If you're selling a product that's got your name and your logo on it at a certain price, then people can't buy that anywhere else. You want that brand to be remembered and noticeable as a good value. And the customers will pay you more for that product because it's Sally's beautiful dresses rather than just beautiful dresses. Or it's Charlie's used cars rather than just used cars. Be willing to brand your products and have logos and images and things that people will remember and identify with. And working with competition, I want to say to you, and this is not a negative, but be smart enough to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. You know, like old Kenny Rogers in the movie. Know when to hold them and know when to fold them. Because here's the fact. You don't want all the business. If you get all the business, you're going to get all the bad business. So be smart enough in your world to know what business you really don't want, or at what level you want to stop pricing to, so that you don't bring in a element of the market that maybe you don't want to serve. That's the beauty of being an entrepreneur. You can make a lot of decisions. But I want you to remember now, when things get tough, and this week we just first heard the experts saying that the market is starting to soften. Inflation is taking its toll, so this upswing in the marketplace is going to soften. Well, of course it is. We're always in a cycle. We're always going up and down, kind of like a roller coaster, it seems like. So as we move into an area that maybe the market is not as hot, we're going to have to be smarter to keep our volume up. But what I want to ask you to remember is, if you start getting afraid or you start getting white knuckles hanging on, remember that reducing expenses doesn't mean you need to stop marketing and advertising. It means you need to keep marketing and advertising, but do it smarter. Don't waste any money, but keep making that investment. What's going to put you on top of the game in a really tough economy? What's going to put you on top of the game is you're the person that's still out there on the street selling hot dogs when all the other hot dog vendors have put their carts up because they said, well, business is bad. Now's the time for the tough to get tougher and figure out a way to maintain and to stay out and to stay in the game. Those are the people that make it for years. My dad, so many years ago in 1959, started a business, and it was tough times. And now we've been through this one we're starting to enter into now will be my 11th business cycle. 11 times have I seen things go way up and go way down. And it seems like the highs are getting higher and the valleys are getting lower, so we have to be smarter to stay in business and keep that in mind. Your pricing strategy, the things we've talked about here today, that if you know it and your competition doesn't know it, and most of them do not, especially in the entrepreneur world, do not know how to apply what we've talked here about today. And if you learn to do it and get good at it and better at it, then you're going to be in a better position to weather a tough storm than anyone else. So we need to know our competition top to bottom. We need to know their strengths and their weaknesses and their anxieties and their marketing strategies and their pricing factors. If they're doing really good on a certain product at a certain price, it may not be the price they're selling it at. It indeed may be the way they're presenting it, which pricing strategy they're using. So you can look at their pricing. You may be able to sell it for less and use the same marketing strategy and take business away from them and enjoy great profits for yourself. We got to outwork them, outthink them, outbrand them. We got to know guerrilla marketing and value added. We got to know how to outlast them. We got to know how to stay friends with them because we don't want them to go away. And we want to sometimes even send business to competitors if in the long run it will bring business back to you, because sometimes it will. Just remember, don't try to be the cheapest. Try to offer the very best value. I want you to understand that sometimes you need to sell with what I call selectivity. That is, there's a lot of business out there, and some of that business is bad, and you don't want that. My dad used to tell me when I first started back in the 60s and 70s, and I was a salesman, and I go out on fire, man, I wanted to sell everybody I could see. If someone had an interest in buying something, didn't make any difference how good their credit was or how much down payment they had, I was going to figure out a way to sell them. And my dad said, Steve-O, you go out and set the woods on fire, your tail is going to be the first one to get burned. And how right he was. And I learned some lessons, because there is some business you don't want at no matter what price. So be smart, be cool, be sophisticated. We got some lessons to learn, and all of us are going to make some mistakes. So I'll go ahead and just pat you on the back right now and say it's going to be okay. You'll get over it. But just remember, sometimes we have to learn these lessons 2 or 3 times. Never think everything's just fine, because in pricing, it is a moving target. It's never just fine. Stay on your toes and always be looking for new upselling opportunities. The key word being upsell. Whatever you're doing in your business, figure out a way to bring on some more service or products that you can upsell. In other words, I'm going to offer this, and if also I'm going to have this, this, and this to improve your purchase. So if you're developing a brand new product and it's just one, go ahead right now and start saying to yourself, what are my upselling opportunities? What are my upselling opportunities going to be? And let's figure out something to go along with it so you can increase your profits as you go. Fight distractions. Set the right priorities. Maintain high standards. And be the best person you can be. Fight distractions. Set the right priorities. Maintain high standards. And when you're being the best person you can be, by golly, you're being the best business person you can be most of the time. I'd love to hear from you. You're always welcome to email me. Here's my email address with questions. Ask for free study guides. If you want private counseling services with the small business centers and directors, just let me know what town you're in, and I'll put you in touch with the ones closest to you. Well, I'll always be glad to hear from you. Let's bring this thing in for a landing now. I want you to imagine with all your mind, believe with all your heart, and achieve with all your might. Let people know that you believe in helping folks. Let your light shine. And may God bless you and keep you and your family and your business as well. In other words, let your light shine to bring people to you. Let them know where they are. Get those prices in line so they look better than the competition, so that you're just not saying take it or leave it. Or in other words, do all that you can to be the best business person you can. Thank you for being with me this afternoon. We got a lot more coming up down the road, and I hope you'll join us later on.